What's going on, everyone? It's the People's Envoy Updog here with you, and today we're going to talk about a little bit about this data mine right here, Gear Tier 20, coming soon to a Marvel Strike Force near you. So I'm going to go over what are the best characters that you should take to Gear Tier 20, or at least consider anyway. In the past, I have kind of hoarded my gear when there's a new gear tier that comes out, and waited to see what is going to be coming up that's going to be requiring that gear tier 20, or whatever gear tier it was in the past, like gear tier 19, 18, whatever. So I tend to hoard unless it's on like a super plug and play character. Like, for example, right now I wouldn't hesitate putting it on like Odin, APOC, maybe Mephisto. We'll talk about that here in a minute, but let's get into the characters here. So first, we're gonna let's just say DD. What are we on? DD9. Let's say DD9 gets announced, and Gear Tier 20 is going to be the requirement. So now I'm kind of going off of what was used in DD7, because DD7 took Mythic characters, City Global, and what am I missing? Cosmic. That's it. Cosmic. So that's what I'm going to go base these characters off of. Now DD8 kind of split up City and Global, and let me double check, and maybe Cosmic. Oh, no, that's right. Okay, so yeah, they split up City into Hero City and Villain City for DD8, and then they did Cosmic and Legendary together. So in this video, I'm going to talk about kind of like how it was set up for DD7. I have no idea how they're going to do it, but we'll just kind of make it easier and go over the characters what we use for DD7, because I have a feeling we're going to get another type of Dark Dimension that's going to require like Purple 4 ISO or Purple 5, maybe something like that. So hopefully for Professor X it'll be something similar to DD7, where it's a little bit broader trait and just Gear Tier 20. And I'm probably will require something like what's his name, Shadow King, and Old Man Logan might be required for Professor X. We know Lilandra will be required. She isn't in my list, but I'll explain that. So let's get into the Mythic characters real quick first. So here is the recommended Mythic characters that I would recommend if you have to take a team of 5 Mythic characters. These are the ones I would take. Honorable mention would go to Ultimus, but it depends on what enemies are going to be on the nodes, or what enemies we're going to be facing with this. So depending on whether you take Ultimus or Dorm would probably be the one we drop, but he's still getting quite a bit of use in War and Crucible, so I think he's still going to be worth it, again, depending on what kind of enemies we're going to be facing when we use the characters at Gear Tier 20. So, like I said earlier, Odin, for no-brainers, like, don't even hesitate to put Gear Tier 20 on them. Mephisto, he's got quite a bit of ways to be countered now. So maybe do him. I mean, like, I'm saying, don't even think about it. Just go directly to upgrading at least Odin and APOC. Mephisto, you may want to think about a little bit. Scroll, you may want to think about a little bit. Although they're probably not going to, if there is a Mythic section, they're probably not going to be ones you want to drop, because I don't think we'll be seeing any other Mythic characters, because Noel, believe it or not, is not a Mythic character. So he will be one that we can talk about here in a little bit. But for now, let's move on to the City section. Now this is City non-Mythic characters that we're going to talk about. So let's go look into them here. Now, if they're going to split up the hero city and city villains, I would probably do Blade and Oath, and then, let's see, Spider-Man Pav, Peter B. Parker, and Penny as the hero team. That's what I do for the hero team if they do decide to do heroes. If they did a villain team, I think Sinister Six characters are still going to be the top choice for city villain team. And if they just do straight city, then this is their straight city team. This is one of the only teams that does not have a lot of healing going on, as far as like compared to, let's say, oh, I don't know, this global team right here that we'll get to in a second. They have some healing. We've got Doctor Strange here. They don't have a lot of, like, other than like healing themselves, or maybe Blade has some drain. But other than that, this one, City's going to be rough. And it was kind of rough in DD8 too, like, especially the city villain anyway. The city villain section was pretty rough because you couldn't bring Doc Ock. It was non-legendary, so yeah, that took a couple, when it first came out, it took a couple of attacks on those city villain nodes. Unless you brought like Hive Mind, which has some great healing with them as well. Alright, so now we're going to get into global. Let's go take a look and see who we got for global. Alright, so first up is going to be Jean Grey. I personally focused on characters that you're going to use multiple times a day or multiple times a week. So Jean is going to be a good choice just because she's on a raid team, she's on a Crucible team, so you're going to get a lot of use out of her. Same with Beast, same with Storm. And then Emma here kind of rounds out the team because all of these other ones are either X-Men or Astral allies, so she'll get benefits from her passive for that. And then Ancient One, just because she'll kind of pair well with Emma. She has really good kit. She has a stun. She flips buffs. She puts counters on all allies, so that's going to be great. That'll give Storm more charges. So you'll be able to use her abilities a little bit quicker, I guess. So, yeah, that's my global team there. Alright, next up is going to be Cosmic, non-Mythic. And for that category, we are going to go with, I personally think Annihilators with Kahori and Doctor Strange would be best. Now, Doctor Strange is actually pretty cheap for gear-wise, gear cost, or at least he was up through gear tier 19 he was. Sometimes they change the gear requirements per gear tier. We saw that with Doc Ock in the past. He's really the only one I can think of right off the top of my head, but they do change it up sometimes. So they might do that for Doctor Strange, but as of right now, the information I have, he is pretty cheap to bring up as far as like mini uniques go. Thanos and Kahori are going to have a lot of synergy here together, and then of course the three Annihilators here. Gladiator will get a lot of benefits from his passive there. So those are the characters for Cosmic that I would recommend. So one other choice for Cosmic that you could throw in there is Null. We're going to be getting him in the next 2-3 weeks, most likely, from the time of the release of this video. So he is Cosmic. He's also Mystic, so that would be a good spot. I mean, Doctor Strange is Mystic, Kahori's Mystic, so, you know, you're not, like, piling on the same origin in this category anyway. In Global, we have a lot of Mutant. In City, we have a good mix. Mythic is a lot of Mystic. Well, yeah, at least for my team anyway that I chose. But yeah, it's not like you're going to be piling on a bunch of the same origin gear. So that's always something you want to keep in mind as well when you're trying to think about bringing up characters to a higher gear tier, especially when it first comes out. So since I don't have Null, that's why I have Doctor Strange here. But yeah, definitely going to be a good choice there. Alright, so the last section we're going to cover is going to be legendaries. And this one is going to be pretty much a no-brainer, like as far as like, oh yeah, well yeah, just going to take the most recent legendaries or the most recent reworks. So let's go take a look here. So we have Rogue in the list here just because she will have some synergy with Phoenix and Old Man Logan. So I thought she was probably the best fifth to use. You could do like Doc Ock and Green Goblin if you wanted. They, in the last, what was it, DD8 or I think, DD8 I think I used them. They didn't hold up quite as well as I wanted them to. Now Rogue probably won't either, but at least you have one character that won't hold up as well versus two. So, plus she's got the X-Men synergy. That's basically the only reason I chose her as the fifth. Then we got Shadow King, the latest and greatest legendary that we have out there. So he's going to be pretty much a guaranteed lock, I think. Phoenix, I think, is going to be a great choice as well. She will, unless you don't use her special, maybe just save her special for like a super important moment during the battles, so that way she can put everybody into stealth and kind of keep them from dying. But I've had good luck with her in past like Dark Dimensions and everything, so I think she's going to be a good choice, especially since she just got reworked. Old Man Logan's going to be another one of those no-brainers you definitely want to take. And then Sue Storm, I think she's going to be a good choice as well. Not only because she just got reworked, but she has a cleanse. She gives the barrier. So I think she's a good choice again now that she has updated stats. So all right, well, let me know what you guys think of those character choices. Would you make any other different decisions? Probably so, especially on the Mythic section, or maybe in the global section. There's a lot of global characters out there. That section historically in other Dark Dimensions has been really tough. So let me know what you guys would do there. And then if you're excited to use Null to get him to Gear Tier 20, you're going to take him straight to Gear Tier 20 when you unlock him. But until next time, make sure you spend those resources wisely, and we will see you around.